why your manifestation is already yours. Now in this beautifully predicted picture right here, we have Pablo. This is your third dimension. This is the reality you're standing in right now, the illusion. In here, Pablo is standing in the middle of nowhere. He has no friends. He's, quite honestly, I mean, look at him. He's got shitty hair. He's sad. He's standing in the rain, thunderstorms. This is Pablo's life. Now, let's move over here, which is his fourth dimension. Let's say this guy's name is Carlos. Carlos is living fourth dimensionally, right? And this is his life. He's got the warm summer sun. He has his SP. He's found the love of his life. Not only that, but he has amazing hair. He's happy. And last but not least, he's got money. Now, if I were to tell you that your manifestation is already yours, you would tell me, like Pablo would, that that's not true, that my life is grim, my life is sad, my life is not what I desire it to be. Now, how do we get from this point to that point, and how do we get you to understand why your manifestation is already yours? Well, stick with me, I'm going to teach you exactly that. Now, let's flip the whiteboard over real quick, and we'll go to the teaching. So, starting off biblically, we do not use this here as a religious textbook. A lot of these laws can be found through all religions. I use it as a rule book to life. Now this one is Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now let's break this down a little further, and I'm going to show you exactly what this means. So faith. Now faith, and faith is inner knowing. So now the inner knowing is the substance. The substance is the fourth dimension. So the inner knowing in the 4D of things hoped for, which can be assumed to your desired reality. So the inner knowing of the 4D is evidence of things not seen. And when you get the evidence of things not seen, guess what? Your 3D will push out to the 4D because you had the faith, the inner knowing in your desired reality, the evidence of things not seen. The evidence means it is already created, that it is already done. So reading this through again, now that we know what this means, is the inner knowing in the 4D will push out your desired reality because your desired reality is already done. You just cannot see it. Now knowing that, you move on to your LOA, your manifestation, your concept of all of this in the terms of the metaphysical. So when you know this, you can now say to yourself, your manifestation already exists in the 4D as in the quantum field, is infinite. Therefore, your desire is waiting for you to maintain the frequency of said desire. Now, reading this through, what does frequency mean? And I know a lot of people don't vibe with this, some people do. Let's look a little deeper in what I mean by frequency. It is self-concept, it is identity, it is awareness, it is vibration. Whatever you want to call it, it is you being aware and sticking in that mentality of your desired reality. For example, if you wanted to manifest $1,000, like the money that Carlos had in the drawing, well, if you wanted to be in the frequency, the self-concept, the identity, the awareness, the vibration of said desire, all you would need to do is bring it into your mind as a completed fact. Now, to do this, it is quite simple. There is no magic pill. Manifestation is awareness. This is what I like to use most often. I think it's the most, non-magic pill type of thing. It's very easy to understand. So what I mean by awareness, awareness is, again, you being aware. It's your consciousness. We have the conscious ability to interpret everything in the way that we want to interpret it. So no matter what shows up in our 3D, like Pablo, the gloomy days, you must be aware in a constant state of awareness of your desire. Now, a tidbit here is if you are in a constant state of awareness, you're going to have pushback of your desire. It will push back on you. Now, what do we do in these circumstances? A lot of people will quit. They'll say manifestation doesn't work. It's not working for me. well, this is what you need to do. And what I mean by pushback is I mean either mentally or physically. You will get worse things happening in your life, or you might get a lot of resistance, which is mental negativity, or the mental opposite of said desire and what you are being aware of and what you are maintaining, trying to create it in your 3D. Now, what you must do when you see the negatives, when it gets worse, you have to keep it from a different approach, right? So you realize that when stuff starts to go bad, it means that stuff is working within, because your old self would not be fighting to stay in your awareness by doing whatever possible if stuff was not working. You doing the inner work to maintain the frequency, maintain the self-concept, maintain the awareness, identity, or vibration of said desire is going to trigger a little bit of pushback. Whether it's internal resistance or outside, it doesn't matter. Every circumstance or desire is going to have a different effect in your reality, because that old self is going to try to maintain awareness, maintain identity, maintain self-concept to stay alive, because it doesn't want to die. Awareness is life to consciousness. What you are not aware of does not exist. So that is why that stuff will happen to you. So if you do want to, again, get your desired reality, you must have faith, the inner knowing in the 4D of things hoped for, which is your desired reality. Have the inner knowing, the faith in your desired reality, and you will see the evidence of things not seen, which is basically your 4D being pushed out into the 3D. You do this by maintaining the frequency, the self-concept, the identity, the awareness, the vibration of said desire. And you can do that by being aware of it in whatever way you want. You don't need any magic pills. You don't need any techniques. But what I find that I do the most is I just will consistently tell myself it throughout the day when it's on my mind. And then, at night, I will sit there and I will affirm as I go to bed or right when I wake up, because I'm in a state of theta, which is the most powerful state to actually change your brain and change your frequency, self-concept, identity, awareness, vibration. Because in theta or alpha, your brain is wide open to, being changed. Your conscious mind, which is the biggest issue, and you getting from, the inner knowing in the 4D to actually seeing the 4D in the 3D is your conscious mind playing a trick on you, which is, again, what happens here when bad stuff starts to happen. That is the trick. Obviously, to get away from that as quickly as possible and to impress your subconscious mind, which is what happens when you change your frequency, your self-concept, identity, awareness, or vibration. That is the best point to do it, is when you're in a relaxed state. Again, you don't need to, have a magic technique. You don't need any of that. You just need to be relaxed and maintain the frequency, self-concept, identity, awareness, or vibration of said desired reality on a day-to-day basis. Now, a lot of people will say that this is woo-woo and it doesn't work. So let's go to the scientific example of why your manifestation is already yours. So the double slit experiment is a very popular experiment done back in the 90s, I believe. I could be wrong here, so don't bite my head off. But the double slit experiment is, the experiment ended up showing that reality doesn't take a fixed form until it is observed, which means if reality does not take a fixed form until it is observed, it is infinite until we give it meaning, until we observe it with our consciousness. Now, what is observing? It's telling yourself, being aware of what something is. So, if you are looking at, say, your business, and your business is not where you want it to be, if you take the awareness, if you take away the awareness from that part of your business that you do not like and you put it on something else, reality must conform to that, because awareness, observation, is what creates something to be stagnant, to be one form. Because if you do not observe something, it's infinite. So what you observe something as, that is what it conforms as. That is a double slit experiment. And it goes on to say, when particles are not observed, they act like waves or vibration, as I was just saying, which means it's an infinite possible location, aka different outcomes, which is different realities. When you have different waves and everything is particles or vibrations, that means you have infinite possibilities, which is infinite realities, which means your desired reality, other realities that you couldn't even like fathom at first glance. It's infinite, which means there's infinite amounts. You can choose what you want. Now, B, the moment you observe reality, reality collapses into one outcome. No matter what you observe reality is, it collapses into one outcome. Now, if you know metaphysically, obviously there is a delay from the 3D to the 4D, from Pablo to Carlos, as in the picture on the back of this whiteboard. Now, a lot of people will get annoyed at that. I don't think you should, because if you had everything you wanted as soon as you were aware of it, your life would be fucking miserable with the amount of intrusive thoughts you have. So be thankful that there is a delay, and be thankful that you know the information to bypass it, because a lot of people don't. So you need to appreciate that, or your life would be a living hell. So obviously the moment you observe reality, reality collapses into one outcome. We can use this to our advantage by observing reality in the way that we want, regardless of what is in front of us. That is persisting. Persist in your reality. Observe. Persist. Persist your reality. If you persist in your reality, it collapses into one outcome, the outcome that you are persisting in. It's super simple, but here is another one. So C, which is the last part that I wrote here, meaning our observations, which is our awareness, our observations, our awareness, our consciousness, our awareness of something holds the only power to choose reality, which is infinite until we do so. So, breaking this all down, it's very, very simple. Our awareness, scientifically, this has been proven that our awareness is what holds reality into one form. Without awareness, reality would be infinite. So if we know this, and we know that the inner knowing in the 4D makes evidence of things not seen. If we know to get to this point, and what the inner knowing of the 4D means is to change your frequency of said desire or self-concept, identity, awareness, or vibration to maintain the thought form in your head that what you want is done, what your desired reality is already yours. And we know scientifically that our awareness is what creates our reality and what brings reality form. Then to get your desired reality, all you have to do is you know that you need to have the inner knowing of your desired reality. You do this by sticking in the frequency, self-concept, identity, awareness, vibration of said desire through whatever you want, which way you want to give awareness, whether that be visualization, inner conversations, affirming, or just being aware every time it pops up in your head. Whatever you want to do, you need to be in a constant state of awareness. When stuff goes bad, well, what do? We stay in our awareness. It doesn't matter to us because we know how reality works. And we know how reality works, and why we don't feed into the bullshit is because we know that in the double slit experiment and how reality works is when particles are not observed, they act like waves or vibration, which means if you don't give something observation, awareness, time in your head, it goes away because life is infinite. As soon as you give reality any sort of attention, no matter what part of reality that is, it collapses into one outcome. Whether that be your desired reality or not, it works both ways. If you are sitting here focusing on something you don't want as if it's already true, guess what? Your life is going to collapse into that one outcome, that one life, that one thought form. So, we know this to be true. You need to have faith in the 4D of your desired reality to see evidence of things not seen. You do this by staying in the frequency, self-concept, identity, awareness, vibration of your desired reality. And we know this because of the double slit experiment. So this is why your manifestation is already yours, and this is how you get your manifestation.